Everyone knows someone that just bought something and it broke way faster than they thought it was going to break.
Yeah.
So having the ability to add a 3 or a 5-year warranty on just even the most basic appliance, if we didn't offer that, we would have a much smaller customer base. Because you can see it on all the big box store websites. They have the extended, warranty coverage on there as a almost like a mandatory add-on to every single appliance. And if you're a consumer that's used to what you just described, replacing a washer that's extremely new or a refrigerator that's extremely new, it's always in the conversation, always. So being primarily a scratch and dent appliance store, whenever we get a customer through the front door, what we're really hearing a lot of nowadays, the second we say that we sell scratch and dent appliances, the first question, can you guess what it is?
What's the warranty? Is there a warranty?
It's like it's the most important thing that people are looking for now. What's up with that? It didn't used to be a thing. Like it wasn't that big of a deal.
I think that it's a lot to do with consumer perception of the quality of appliances. When I got in the market, it wasn't a big deal because you could sell something and you knew it was never coming back.
Yeah.
And now they are coming to you scratch and dent because they don't want to put a lot of money in it because they maybe have gotten burnt from the larger the larger dealers. And we did a poll on my YouTube channel about this and Facebook, and we asked the question, would you buy an appliance with no warranty? And we had almost 3,000 people reply to this question, yes or no. And we found that 64% of people straight up would not consider purchasing an appliance anymore with no warranty. And I imagine as time goes on, that number is going to become less and less. They're becoming more educated about how bad they are. And because of how social media spreads, you learn about class action lawsuits and all the different things that are going on in the appliance world. They're more educated than ever, and they're starting to distrust things, which is a problem. But then if we have a solution for it, it can become lucrative for those that know how to work with it.
I mean, it makes perfect sense because, back in the day, whenever we first started selling appliances, warranty wasn't as big of a deal. 10, 15 years ago, it wasn't the first thing that we had to talk about whenever we're shopping with someone for appliances. But man, I tell you, literally the last 4 years, before we even get into the store, we're already talking about the warranty coverage that we offer, because that's the first thing at the top of their mind is that warranty coverage. So I don't know. It's definitely changed. And do you think that's due to the quality of products? I mean, you just said social media and other information spreads, but I mean, give me the Ben breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they break down more than they ever have. I think really where it comes down to is with lean engineering being the principle for everything that's out there. The companies are probably better than they've ever been on making sure that the unit lasts through the warranty that the manufacturer gives, but then it's failing right outside of it, and they're left holding the bag proverbially on what do they do when they need to fix it. Then they go to maybe a COD warranty service, or maybe they use one of my videos to fix things. And some of these fixes, if there isn't an affordable third-party product out there, they get priced out of a fix. And they really want to know what they're getting themselves into on the next one, because the rate of them getting burnt on the old unit is their last unit's becoming more and more. So they're more brand agnostic than they used to be. That's what my feed is full of, is people saying, well, I bought this brand, I bought a Maytag and it stunk. So what do I get? And how do I make sure that it's going to last? Or if it doesn't last, what can I do to remediate?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people are doing a lot of research before they shop too. I can't tell you how many people know you in our store before they come in and shop. Or they just do research in general about what they're shopping for. Like the level of educated customers that we have now versus 5 years ago is way different. We're not able to teach people as much stuff anymore because they already know whenever they come in. And a big part of that is the serviceability of something. They identify a lot of things that our technicians also know whenever they walk in the store, which I mean, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing, but um, they definitely are using that to steer their direction of what they buy for sure. So I saw this consumer reports sheet on here. Do you have that sheet?
I do,
Let's
yes.
see. So what is like, how often are appliances serviced? First 5 years after purchase.
Yeah, those numbers are pretty scary. I think it shows refrigerators having a 40% rate of problem, dishwashers having 30% problems within the first 5 years, washing machines have a 30% issue rate, clothes dryers at 20%, and then all ranges. I don't know what all ranges are considered, but all ranges are at 25%. And that sounds about right. I think there's probably some devil in the details with those numbers, in that it probably breaks out a very fascinating way to me. I think be very fascinating to break it out further. Although I assume Consumer
Mm-hmm.
Reports wouldn't want people to be very privy to that, because it may change the landscape on what people buy.
Right.
But and people on my channel are always interested in knowing that. And I talk to businesses about these things for repair parts. I'm in negotiations with multiple companies about providing more repair videos, and they want me, just like I would want me, to go after things that are known failure points on appliances. Is there anything that's more common across all the brands, or is it a specific use case with a specific brand and a specific model that has a lot of problems? And I want to go after those things to help people out. But there's a lot of interesting things in this. But the reality is, I think a 40% failure rate on a refrigerator should, scare anyone, because if it's a big problem and it's, say, a cooling issue, then you're out your food. And
Yeah.
that's the number of times we've had to fight people over food on a failure from us, or they come to me angry about the warranty they had on their previous appliance, saying, I lost $500 of food. Now I got to get a fridge and I got to get food. What's going to work? And we
Right.
have to go through our process with them, and console them, and but explain how those sort of situations really work from a legalese standpoint, and hopefully educate them in a way.
Yeah. I mean, I know if someone comes into our retail store and they're looking for one appliance, they're probably replacing something broken. So it's a pain point. They have already experienced the failure of some appliance. And some of those, you I feel like we hear like the extreme opposites all the time. So they're either replacing a 20-year-old appliance, or they're replacing something that probably shouldn't be replaced, you know, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's like, wow, that washer really only made it 5 years. You know, I don't think people are washing heavier blankets, in their washing machines, or, dirtier clothes or something. Like, I think the appliances have definitely changed.
Yeah, well, I mean, both of us work on haulaways. The
Hmm.
last giant truckload of haulaways that I got of washers and dryers, I was frightened when I opened the lids up to look at the manufacturer's dates on them, the ones that we're getting. They are newer than they've ever been.
Yep.
We are getting units that are 2 and 3 years old, so they're directly outside of warranty,
Hmm.
and they look. I mean, some of these we're not even having to paint or clean up. They're clean as they come to us,
Yeah.
because they're just not old. And when I started, it was nothing to get a unit on a trade in that was half in the grave, because it
Yeah.
had been beaten to death and it was still running on its last breath.
Uh-huh.
And like you said, that I think, you said the customers becoming more sophisticated, and I think that's because, again, the average age of which some of these machines are going out is creeping up. And that's a challenge. That's a challenge for the industry. And I hope things change, but until they do, it's about protecting yourself as the business, and protecting the
Hmm.
customer as a partner in, getting them something that's going to last, that they're going to be happy with, that they're going to come to you and trust you for that next thing. Because, I live in a small community. I don't have very many competitors. I want my name to be good, but I want them to come back to me from now on, because that relationship could be a decadal relationship of
Right.
an average customer value could be huge.
Hmm. Yeah, I see that a lot. Like I was talking about that customer, the first interaction that we have, if we didn't have extended warranties, if we didn't offer extended warranties, I feel like our close rate would be much, much lower. And it's not even about the price. It's not even about like the details of the warranty, really. It's just the existence of it. So
Mm.
having the ability to add a 3 or a 5 year warranty on just even the most basic appliance, if we didn't offer that, we would have a much smaller customer base, because you can see it on all the big box store websites. They have the extended warranty coverage on there as a almost like a mandatory add on to every single appliance. And if you're a consumer that's used to what you just described, replacing a washer that's extremely new or a refrigerator that's extremely new, it's always in the conversation, always, because everyone knows someone that just bought something and it broke way faster than they thought it was going to break.
Yeah. And even on right before I came to do our podcast, I was talking to our sales lady, and I had been pushing the past month to really focus on warranties, because you and I have talked behind the scenes about warranties.
Yeah,
So she's now really pushing the warranty period that we're off. We had always offered it,
right,
but she started pushing that as the primary feature on any sort of marketing that she's done. And 30 minutes before we did this, she said, I'm noticing that people are starting to interact with what I'm trying to market on social media now more than they were, just by mentioning the fact that we have that warranty on it stock. We
right,
always had that warranty stock, but now that she's changing up the verbiage, she's finding out that the interest level is becoming so much higher when that's a mandatory mention, beyond the features, beyond because they see the product, they see what we're selling in the advertisement, so they know what they're getting. But then when they start seeing the description, the warranty being the number one thing, is it's starting to pay dividends. And now we're having to go through and say, okay, what products don't have this listed is the number one feature that our company's offering versus the other ones. And it's like, okay, now you got to go through 50 or 60 or 70 and start mentioning this more so than what we had been. And I kind of told her I told them that that's what I had, that's what we needed to do months ago, but now it's starting to really take hold. And it's exciting that our attach rate's starting to go up. So I
hmm
figure in a month or two or three, we'll start seeing even more sales than we were.
yeah. I mean, if you don't offer extended warranties, it's almost as bad as like if you didn't offer delivery. Like the customer just has to figure out how to get it home, right? Like it's that impactful. It's that big in our business, and our attachment rate is high, like currently, but we are increasing, like what you just said, because we're getting more comfortable talking about it. And honestly, the feedback is good from all the customers of the warranty provider that we use. We've never had a negative interaction with someone about it, but um, it's more about having that peace of mind. And warranty companies kind of operate like insurance, right? So like they sell you the warranty, you register it, and the way that they get the price down is, some people forget that they have it, right?
Mm.
So they forget, just like a gym membership, right? I go to Gold's Gym, I get my gym membership. They can sell a million gym memberships because they know only 100 people are going to show up at one time, right? I think it's kind of the same thing with extended service plans or warranties, where they can bring that price down because they know that not everyone's going to actually use it. So if you're a consumer and you actually remember you have it, you put, either you put like a brochure or whatever, like you attach it to the appliance or something that reminds you that you have it with your date on it. and you actually use it, I feel like you could really hack the system and get a service plan for much less than if you were going to service something. And all you got to do is remember you got it.
Yeah, and the person I have that's my sales person now, they came from big box at a kind of like a Lowe's competitor, very very local to where I'm at in Ohio. And they told me specifically that one of the reasons they pushed warranties was because the managers over them said no one's going to remember that they have that warranty. So
Yeah.
we they would make that the primary thing because they knew that no one would remember the receipt, no one would
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of it. And I've told her the exact opposite, that hey, if we are going to mention this, we need to make sure we give them as much information about this as possible, because we need to also cover our rear ends on this and make sure that we aren't getting bombarded with claims or questions or complaints about this stuff when we know that that warranty isn't just there for them, it's there for us in case the consumer does something way outside of our use case.
Yeah.
And we've had that problem over the years with scratch and dent, is if we have a good enough deal on a scratch and dent product, we are, and we do a good job marketing it too, we're pulling people way outside of our region to come purchase things from. I mean, we've had people take stuff to Michigan, to
Yeah.
West Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
out of out of county all the time, and it's outside of our service area too. And we have to have that warranty as a guard against having to send a technician to an area that we can't deal with to pay for it, to go deal with it, because then we're out multiple hours, we're out the gas, we're out the travel expenses, and then all of a sudden that our wholesale costs on that warranty could be 10 times higher, 20 times higher on compliance, because we had to take care of that customer because we didn't have like a service network that we could tap to take care of those things. Because I think the one time we knew someone did take something outside of the state, they had a problem, and we had to figure a way out how do you service
It's
something
usually how
in
that
the middle?
works.
How do you service something in the middle of Michigan when your store's in Southern Ohio?
It's a long
And
trip for the Maytag man.
and they never and they never told us that it was outside of county. We
Mm-hmm.
had no clue, and it was 6 months after they had purchased it or something. I've had two different situations, I think in the past 3 years, where we had that happen, and we had to find a way to make sure that they were happy, and we got it worked out. But those situations aren't fun to deal with. If it's
Yeah.
someone local and we can service what we sell in our 10 miles from here, don't blink at it. But when it's an all day thing as a risk, man, it gets kind of hairy.
Yeah, I mean, like from a business standpoint, like servicing warranties is a whole other beast. So, like, uh, you have to think you have your service person salary. They take a day off. How do you do it? Just the whole management of that whole process. You have a service vehicle of some sort, stock parts. You got to keep them busy. So you got to maintain that schedule. And then if they call out sick or something and you have a full schedule, well, it's a double sided sword. So there's a whole business that runs to give good customer service to your customers. And I feel like a lot of scratch and dent stores struggle with that. We struggled with it. Um, I mean, it's hard to get out to someone fast whenever you're trying to pay for the machine that can do that. So, like, if I'm running a successful service business and it pays for itself, I got to do COD calls. I got to do service calls to pay for the machine. But then again, I also want to offer my customers the fastest service possible if they need it. So it's like, the bigger the machine gets, the harder it is to accomplish that. And then it's the same thing on the small side. If you have 3 service calls a week, like, can you allocate one person to do
Yeah.
that? Like, it's even worse. So to be able to offer that customer service level from a business standpoint is kind of a problem that never scales away. It just stays there no matter what size your business is. And we've seen that.
Yeah, and that is a very hard thing to do, because the person that I have used that works for me for years, we had a 3 month span where my main repair person was also my main route runner on warranty calls, and then they had a stroke.
Oof.
And they were, thank God they were able to come out of it and they're back working for me. But there was a 3-4 month span there
Mm-hmm.
where I had to go find another, unless I wanted to jump. I could have taken the Maytag suit. But it would have, the only option we had was for me to go do it for a while,
Yep.
or go pay someone else's repair rate, COD rate, to get stuff fixed. And that was we struggled there. We
Yeah.
struggled there, really, really difficult, because our entire system got turned upside down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's never something you want to always have a backup, and you always want to have a backup to that backup if you can. And again, having something out there where it's kind of one and done, to where you can push it off on someone else if possible, as the worst case scenario, I think it helps to have contingency plans.
Right.
And no matter what it is in your business, if you're trying to buy appliances to fix them, you want 2 or 3 backups on where you're sourcing your stuff from. And it's the same way with your warranty work, where you have a contingency or three, that you don't have to worry about that, or at least it's a lower risk issue that you have.
Yeah. And I mean, on the service end of that, so our contingency plan is we double dip. So we sell the warranties up front, and then we are the service provider on the backside, to where we make, I think our warranties might be the highest margin thing that we sell in our entire store, except maybe connections. I think our like refrigerator water lines, those are coming through
Yeah.
super strong.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But the outside of that, like our actual products that we sell, our warranty is the highest margin thing that we sell. But the best part is that we're the servicer of that warranty. So they pay us to run our own service calls. And if we're not available, if we don't have the capacity to run that service call, we just tell them. And then they send someone else out there super fast. So to have that ability to tap into a network of other servicers, you keep your guy on, you make it a priority to where you guys run that service call yourself. And it's actually pretty profitable doing that. And then if anything happens and you can't service it, or your schedule's busy that week, or whatever the reason is, I have other higher margin opportunities to send that person to, whatever it is, you have that fallback plan of the entire service network of like nationally, like anywhere, not just in your one, county. It's really cool. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge.
mm-hmm. So like running a service business, number one, like if you were gonna, like, what do you think the most service calls are on? Like what, we saw the consumer report sheet where they said 40% all refrigerators, whatever all refrigerators means. But what do you think like the highest repaired thing on the market is?
It's going to be ice makers, and specifically indoor ice makers on French door refrigerators. I think that that's going to be the biggest thing. I know they always hide these numbers by obscuring a lot of the information, but when I was at a training seminar where they brought in whoever they could from the different manufacturers, some manufacturers are more open than others about what warranty failures are. And now, admittedly, I think in general it's ice makers, unless you're having like a very acute situation, like we are with, say, the Whirlpool pressure sensors on VMW washing machines, which is an epidemic. Unless you have like a very specific issue that's within a time frame, it's going to be your indoor water and ice. It's just that's how they work thermodynamically. They're not meant to be in the indoor of your refrigerator, but that's how everyone wants it for convenience. There's
Mm-hmm.
just a lot of mechanical failure points with that. So when we sell kits on our website, or I do a YouTube video, all I have to do is mention ice maker, and people come to the videos.
The
Like,
crowds erupt.
yeah, if you sort my repairs by most popular, it's either going to be how to get into diagnostics to figure out what's wrong, or it's something to do with an ice maker. And it's that way with every brand, make, and model. And ice makers are sometimes difficult to diagnose, and more a larger thing than that, they're expensive to fix. Your ice makers are going to run $100 just in parts, and that is if that's beyond the technical expertise you need on diagnosing why that ice maker failed. Circling back to the failure rate explanation, one company that was at the seminar just gave everybody the failure rates for their warranty. And they said that within the warranty period of their refrigerators, whether it was a French door or a side by side with indoor water, and this guy was the head of the department, so he had all the data. He said that 11% of all of their refrigerators were having a warranty claim on them. But he broke it down on that 11% to where 9% of that had something to do with the ice making system. That was no ice, slow ice, noise during production, something to do with the ice making cabinet. Only 2% of the issues were legitimate mechanical or sealed system issues.
So what does that
And
equate to? Like 80% of all warranty claims on that fridge was ice maker?
over 80%. Now, he qualified that by saying a lot of those calls were because the customer didn't understand how an ice maker worked.
Yeah.
I think half of the ice maker calls were for slow ice, or they had ripped all the ice out of it, so there was no thermal mass. Maybe it was an inverter based motor to where it took a while for it to scale up to get to consistent ice production, and the customer didn't understand that, so it was consumer education. But
Mm-hmm.
either way, it was very difficult. It was very expensive for their service department.
We've had those service calls. Hey, you guys just delivered a fridge. It hasn't made ice yet. I'm like, look at our delivery schedule. I'm like, did we deliver it today? Like 2 hours ago? Yeah, they say 24 to 48 hours. So I get that. But still, that's even if half of those were customer service or customer education, that's still a really big chunk. A really
Yes.
big chunk.
Yeah,
So
and that's what they were.
do you guys currently talk about that in your sales structure? Like, or is that a weird thing? Because like when you're selling something and then you're talking about how often they break, it's kind of a weird, like it's it's kind of a hard thing to dance around. Like,
It is, because are you wanting to sell the customer on a feature that they're kind of wanting,
yeah,
or do you educate them on the caveats to what they like? And I don't know if I think really that's something where you hope your salesperson can feel the customer out and give them personalized care, to where maybe they're more sophisticated, they're wanting better information, or
hmm,
are they just wanting to know about the features of that refrigerator? And yeah, it has an ice maker in it. This is what I think the production scale is of it. This may be a better ice maker than some of the others, because if I wanted to sell someone an ice maker, I could, and do it accurately by describing why one may be a little bit better than the other one. I mean, I have indoor water and ice in mine, not necessarily because I wanted to, but because it was the open box scratch and dent that I could, get from my own business. So I'm a hypocrite on it. But at the same time, I do think that having a level of personalized care for that, making your sales associate be a sales associate, can win them one way or another. Steer them to a better product if you got it, or steer them into something that's going to maybe last longer, or just build them up with a proper expectation. I think that may be it, is building them up with a proper expectation of, if you're getting indoor water and ice, you're paying for convenience,
hmm,
pay for the extended warranty, so you're covered. So you're absolutely covered. Get the 5 year. If the 5 year is not that much more expensive, and you're looking at this 40% failure rate, play the odds. I
yeah,
mean, everybody's betting on things. Bet on yourself. Bet on your refrigerator that you're going to have something covered in that 5 year span, and just get it taken care of. I think that if I was selling a refrigerator with indoor ice and that was a point that they wanted, I would do everything in my power to sell that extended warranty to them,
yeah,
to give both sides the satisfaction of knowing that this won't be an issue, even if it is an issue. And like you said earlier, taping that brochure onto the refrigerator, or maybe having like, put the brochure on the refrigerator and give them a pamphlet with the sales
Stickers.
information. Yeah, stickers, something that they can look at on that refrigerator to know, here's your warranty information. You're not only getting a good warranty, we're going to protect that warranty for you. So you don't call us on it though. Give
Yeah.
them all the stuff so that they can take the ownership, so you have zero problems once it's left your doors.
Yeah, and then circling back to like that whole piece about, do you talk about the failure rate of something that you're trying to sell, which is like a weird balancing act, right? But I feel like you don't even have to talk about it that much anymore, because the people that walk through the door have already done, 5 years ago, we're like, you see the eyes light up on a feature that they hadn't seen before, or you see the eyes light up on a new style or a new whatever, right? Like they were in discovery mode. Well, discovery mode is done on the toilet with their phone, right? Or laying in bed at night, doom scrolling. That's where discovery mode is happening now. So I feel like they already know those things. They already know, like, it's not a surprise to them that ice makers break often. And I feel like that's part of their shopping experience now, is they're coming to a store to shop for something where they've already consumed that piece of information, and now they're using that to guide their choices. And so it's kind of weird whenever we're teaching our salespeople like how to talk about warranties. It's like a lot of people, they say things like, I'm going to buy the most simple appliance because it has less stuff to break. It doesn't necessarily scale like that, right? Because the simplest appliance, do you mean the lowest price point appliance? Because those two aren't
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. If
Yes.
I'm going for this lowest price point appliance, now you're buying something that is going to fail faster than some of the others, right? Is that what you've seen?
Yeah, and I think that there's even the caveat to it that one of the things that is a dirty secret in the industry is that the manufacturer often doesn't want you to repair that appliance, in that they will price certain things out of the reach of consumers to get it taken care of. And that's where I think warranties get really scary on how necessary they are. I have a refrigerator that I'm doing a review on right now in my studio. And I'm taking it's a very simple one. It's a very simple
Mm-hmm.
one, almost no moving parts. And I'm taking it apart. I'm taking it apart. And it's really interesting that all of a sudden you get to the control board on it. It's an inverter. It's an inverter powered unit with no Wi-Fi, barely any features on it. So it looks like it's priced as a basic refrigerator, but has this really nice inverter control board on it. And then I go to the company's website to see what that's going to cost. And all of a sudden, it's a $300 board.
Ooh.
And
How much is
it's
the
on a
appliance
not
roughly?
$800.
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, on a scratch and dent load that I got. And I'm thinking that's a difficult case, because
Yeah.
unless you're able to get that product off of a non OEM retail source
Mm-hmm.
and get it at a discount, it's not going to cost itself to be repairable in a lot of situations. And I don't know if I trust that board,
Right.
because I can't, there's no name brand information on it. The relays are generics, the capacitors are generic. I don't know what the lifespan on it is. What do they do? And that creates some questions on those lower end simple appliances, is because when they price them cheap and they make them simple, they're probably not picking the best partners to package that. And it's the juxtaposition of, yeah, people want simple because it breaks less, but if they're building the unit cheaper from the factory, then are you really getting something that's better? It's a seesaw effect that, yeah, I mean, I always preach simplicity, but then when you start taking apart that simple thing, you find they may be cutting more corners on those. And
Right.
that's a terrible situation to be in.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and like the one I tore apart, it's a very well known brand name unit, but you can tell that the factory that assembled it is they're doing a lot of just random brands out there with various consonants on it, and it's like, oh, this is a big OEM that put their name on it, but then the cheapo Amazon house brand has this one too. How's that? You know,
Yeah.
that's not a good
You're
look for a major OEM.
you're starting to see a lot more of that too. So like in relation, the extended warranties like that we sell in our store, they go by price point. So like in that scenario, you'd have some level of coverage that makes financial sense at the point of
Mm-hmm.
sale. Now, if you go on your own and you're going to fix it yourself or do, COD with a service company, you price yourself out of it almost every time. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but we hear it all the time. Oh, I want a washing machine with no board on it. And then they go right for like a WTW 5000 or like, a Whirlpool washer with the knobs, but it has the lights on it. And you're like, that's got a board on it. Even though it looks like it has knobs, there's still a board on it. And they're like, well, it's close enough. And I'm like, okay, cool. But you're not shopping the way that you think you are.
Mm-hmm.
So simple is good, but cheap is different. If
Yes.
you're going off of quality, very, very different. So yeah, that's an interesting point. But whenever we talk about warranties with our customers, once, if I'm shopping for a refrigerator, I'm going to buy a refrigerator. Um, so our salesperson's job is to essentially just make sure that the shopping experience makes sense. What they're looking for matches what their needs are, because they're going to buy a fridge. We sell scratch and dent, so our prices are already the best, and we have a good reputation. So we already know that if they're in our store and they're looking for something, our close rate's very high, and it's not because we have killer salespeople. We do. Sorry, guys, if you guys are watching this, but it's more about they're there to make a purchase. Like no one just likes to go appliance shopping. They go appliance buying. Appliance shopping is done on the toilet with your phone. But so if they're physically there in our store and they're looking at something and we need to talk about the extended warranty option, don't feel like you're bringing up a subject that you need to sweep under the rug, like service and how often things break and all that kind of stuff, because they already know it. So if you
Yeah.
talk about it from a position of authority, where you work in an appliance store, you sell appliances, you deal with service, those sort of things, you should be able to talk about those things in a way that educates the customer and not necessarily like the warranties sell themselves. Like you don't necessarily have to be a car salesman type shark that, oh, I closed a appliance extended warranty today. Like who cares? They were probably either going to buy it or not buy it already. You just checked them out. So with our rookie salespeople, we see that a lot where they're hesitant to talk about the warranty, because they're bringing up something that's like a pain point for that customer already. And it's really not that big of a deal. Like if you can figure out a way to talk about it in a way that's neutral and really
Mm-hmm.
tell the benefits of the thing that you're selling, that's the biggest part. Like if you can't articulate all the reasons why the thing that you sell is good, then you failed for sure. You really got to be an expert on the thing that you're talking about, the warranty in this case. So if you can articulate all the bullet points to the warranty, if you have food spoilage like you talked about, or if you have like a service area, if it's just local or if it's national, like all the sales points of it, all the meaningful points, that's what you talk about, because they already know that ice maker is going to break eventually, hopefully, if they've been researching enough.
Yeah, and I think that it goes akin to what you'd mentioned a lot earlier in where your markup or your margin is. It's like adding washer and dryer hoses to something. You're not going to ever think twice about selling someone washer and dryer hoses because you know why you know why it would be needed, and even if they already have some knowledge on it, you know that adding that on is just, it's a courtesy to them to make sure that they're protected from
Yep.
old hoses that have damaged gaskets in them, or they're going to get it home and not have the right plug in because they, had an old one or something. And warranties are kind of the same way. Yeah, theoretically you have one, but is it the right one? Is it the one that's going to assist you when there's a problem? Because, like I'd mentioned earlier, manufacturers anymore do have a good idea that if they build that product, it should not fail under that stock warranty plan. But as soon as you get outside of that basic stock coverage, that's when it's going to fail. That's when it's literally designed, that they're literally designed to fail outside of warranty, because if they fail inside of warranty, that manufacturer is liable for incredible service costs. When I talked to the one engineer years ago that worked for one of the big OEMs, said, if they have to go out on a warranty call themselves, they run into the, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, GE, Samsung, LG. They all have the same problem we do, where that can get very expensive. And then all of a sudden, the margin they got on that appliance is eaten up very quickly. Therefore, as an engineer, he was told, do not let it fail under warranty. Do everything you can to have it not fail under warranty. Once it's outside of warranty, yeah, we're designing it to last XYZ years. But he knew that there was also a bonus if he made the design a little bit cheaper and saved them some money. And guess what's going to happen when you want to save money? It's
Hmm.
the 40% of refrigerators, it's the 30% of dishwashers. And the Consumer Reports data that we have here, I would wonder how old that is too. 40% of refrigerators fail in the first 5 years. Is that 5 years from 2019? Is that
Hmm.
5 years from today? Like what you said, how the
This
customer
month.
mindset is. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I bet you that these numbers are consistently going up, to where maybe the 40% failure rate we're talking about and ruminating over, that may be 50% 5 years from now. Yeah, it may be 50% right now. We don't know. We
Right.
can't really say for certain what these numbers are going to look like in the future. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that the numbers are going to go up and not down. I don't think that I think that eventually consumers will force manufacturers to build a little bit higher quality, but I don't think we're there yet, and I don't think we will be for a while.
Yeah. And I think it actually gets a little bit worse because we get those customers in that are shopping for the cheapest thing. Well, that's what drives the same problem over and over and over again, too. If you're racing to the bottom on build quality every single time to meet a lower price point to bring that product to market, it's a machine that just always keeps eating itself. And you do have your outliers, right? You got your speed queens and people that focus on the durability side, and that's their brand, right? But the big commodity products, that's not necessarily the ethos of what they sell. That's not what makes the product sell. It's the features and functions, or the cool stuff, or the cool lighting, or um, man, craft ice. Craft ice is pretty badass. So like those type of features are what sell stuff. Um, and if you can get features and cheap, well, now we're moving a lot more products. So that's driving the price down and just continues the problem. So I think we are our own worst enemy. And I think extended warranties are going to be around for a long time because that's what drives it. It'd be interesting to know how many people buy extended warranties on other stuff. Like, is appliances this standalone freak category of things? Or, like, I don't know. I haven't really had any problems with my phone recently for like the last 5 years. I'd never buy an extended warranty on a phone, but I definitely would buy an extended warranty on a refrigerator that costs 2 grand, even though this phone probably costs like $1,000. But I don't correlate. Maybe that's a bad analogy, but you know what I mean? Like what other categories out there?
I think consumer electronics are a big one. I know I have bought multiple extended warranties on laptop. I buy extended warranties
Mm.
on laptops because I'm constantly worried that my wife is going to pick a laptop up by the
By the cord.
Do I want to get no, no, by the
She's gonna see
monitor.
this. By the monitor. Yeah.
Maybe okay. Maybe it's not my wife. Maybe it's one of my kids. Will pick a
Trim this out,
laptop up
Mike.
literally, yeah, by the monitor. Like
Yep.
I've seen my kids and I've seen other family members do this. They will pick up the laptop
Hmm.
by the monitor and
I do
carry
it.
it around.
Yep.
Yeah, that kills me when I see them do that because on one of the laptops we had, I probably had my last three laptops die because of hinge, not power cord failures, but hinge failures because of how they
Oh.
pick it up and how they're rough opening them up,
Hmm.
closing them, and then carrying them around like that. And I know that's a stress point, and they probably don't engineer them well enough for my family members. So I've tended to get extended warranties on those,
Hmm.
or even on like desktop computers, I've bought extended warranties, not because I think the parts will fail, but I think there'll be some sort of accident covered under the service plan that will, help me out here
What
and
about
there. And
cars?
I
Do you get an extended warranty on cars?
I just bought a new to me car from CarMax and did get an extended warranty on it.
Okay. All right.
And now, and of course, there's a lot of devil in the details from it. The extended warranty wasn't very expensive. It was like 8% of the purchase price, so I felt that it was justified, given that it was going to last for like 6 years or something. I
Hmm.
did the math and it worked. I bought a hybrid and it covered everything but the hybrid battery, but then I still had the manufacturer's warranty that covered what the extended warranty did as well. So I felt comfortable with it. But I even talked to a former CarMax sales agent, and he said, I can't, I don't care what you get from them or if you get it from someone else, but I would get the warranty because I saw too many motors go bad that had a $10,000 price that got covered under the extended warranty based on certain brands. Now, I bought a Prius, which probably has one of the lowest service rates in the industry. So maybe I didn't need the extended warranty, but I thought, this is the first time I've really bought something nice for myself. I may as well not worry about it. And if I do have a really big issue in the next 6 years, then it's not a big deal.
I feel like you're the type of dude that would do a lot of research on any major appliance, or not appliance, but just anything. Like talking to an ex Carmax guy before you went and shopped at Carmax. I feel like there's a lot of people out there that do that, even if they don't think that they're doing it. That could be scrolling and looking on YouTube and what other people say, like Ben, or that could be all different ways that they consume that information. Um, like to me, me personally, I don't buy extended warranties on anything. But if I was a consumer, I would probably buy it on my dishwasher, washing machine, and refrigerator. Like
Mhm.
if I wasn't in the appliance industry, those would probably be instilled in me to buy those three things. Now, dryer, no. Range, no. But definitely dishwasher, anything with water. I would probably buy the extended warranty because I'm also going through those a lot faster as a homeowner. So I see it a lot that those happen. But like as a like whenever I talk to people on our sales floor and I'm talking to them about extended warranties, that's part of my thing where I say I don't buy extended warranties on anything. Appliances are different. This is a different category of thing that you're shopping for. And maybe on certain models, I push it a little bit harder because I know they're going to need it. Because
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like what you said before, where like it's not just about the consumer buying the thing; it's also about protecting your brand as a company. Because it doesn't matter if they got the warranty or they didn't get the warranty. If that thing breaks, like you're either taking that on the chin as a small business owner and getting a 1-star review or whatever, or they have a solution, and that solution sometimes is us going out and servicing it for free out of warranty just to be the good guys, and that gets really expensive over time if you're doing that. So it's brand protection too. It's not just about selling a high margin product. It's about protecting your brand that you're building of your appliance store. So
Hmm.
it's double-edged sword all the way across the board.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, you got anything else to talk about extended warranty wise? Got any other ideas? We covered a lot.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. I think for me, it would just be digging into, I think that selling the warranties is huge and it's important. I guess for
Yeah.
me, doing the YouTube thing, it would be exactly which appliances fail more often than the other. Digging into those numbers because you said I would never buy a warranty on a clothes dryer, and I agree with you. And then you said, "Oh, I'd never buy a warranty on a range." But then the immediate thing in my thought was my head was, I probably would on an induction range.
Mm.
Just knowing I got a lot of induction ranges over there, and there are some situations that would kind of scare me on like capacitive touch screens or whatever,
Hmm.
where there are a few pieces that I'm like, I would throttle a customer for not buying an extended warranty on one of those because
Yeah.
if I mean we'll be covered, we'll have the 1 year warranty, so forget you if you don't get it, we're taken care of. But I would hate to be the guy that buys a $3,000 induction range, knowing that there's a $700 generator board in that thing, and if it
Hmm.
goes, you aren't going to get a deal on it anywhere. So I think there's
And
a lot of use cases that you could really get into. I would get in, because of me, I would get in the mutiny and be like, yeah, that's a $700 Bosch generator board inside of that. You
yeah,
really want to roll the dice that that's going to last 15 years? I wouldn't.
you
But
whenever you were saying that, you struck a nerve because parts availability. So like that's another huge thing that we haven't talked about with. So like the extended warranty program that we sell, it has a built-in function where I don't know the details, but if they can't service it within a certain amount of time, they can't fix it, or a part's on back order for whatever reason, like there's not a solution present, they're eligible for a replacement. Because in that exact scenario that you just outlined, where that $700 induction board or whatever, even if it was in stock and they can fix it, the customer still has a safety net to where they can get out of the appliance and get a brand new one. And the cool thing is that these dudes just cut them a check. They don't even, it's not like we're going to replace it with the same model and like all that hoopla. They literally mail them a check and the customer can use that check wherever they want to go. So me as a retailer, hopefully I've won their business again to where they're going to bring that check back to me and I'm going to sell them something different. So that's like triple dipping. But we've seen that on our side as service providers on things that we sell, where let's say we sell them a washing machine and the suspension rods are on back order for a month. Well, what are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to sit there and tell the customer that they have to wait for 4 months while they make more suspension rods in China? No, you can't do that. You have to replace it. And now you have a piece of inventory waiting for 6 months while the suspension rods come in. So that's, it's not as big of a deal as some of the other stuff we talked about, but it's a pretty major part of why we made the jump to start selling warranties.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. I think that the parts are an undersung part of it because again, on the refrigerator that I'm working on, I know it's like some random OEM, and it does concern me if they'll have parts for it.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you do run into situations like with the Whirlpool top loader washing machines we've gotten. The problem they had on those, and that's like it's a really stalwart model where you would have never expected this
Hmm.
problem, and then all of a sudden there's a board issue, and then I know a company that does leasing. They are dropping their entire washer line and going to a different brand because they got told we will not get you a board for this machine for 4 months.
Hmm.
And every single unit that would come in with that same problem, they had to go into the consumer's house and swap the washing machine out with a different brand, make, and model because they even though they're a larger company, they had no recourse to protect themselves from this situation happening. And as a consumer, if you had those specific model of washing machines, you're you had no recourse. You've literally had no recourse in that.
Yep.
And having an extended warranty that isn't beholden to you'll get fixed when you get fixed. I think that's a huge advantage for consumers.
Yeah. Like to me, I'm not sure how that wasn't a recall personally, but That man doing hallways like what you said, they're full of it. Like those not to be named boards, or maybe we already did. I don't know. But those top load washers with the transducer issue. I mean, we got thousands of them. If anyone wants some, we got a lot, and that's nationwide. So, just being a small blip in the radar of the appliance space, and if that happened in our store to, say 100 of our customers, and we were on the hook for all that, and there wasn't a recall that protected it, us as a company, like we gotta figure something out quick. So if those guys purchase an extended warranty, we're good. Like we're covered. So not all of them would, but yeah, that's a really, really big deal. So I think as a whole, like just me as a business owner, like extended warranties, I don't know how I went so long without having them, number one. And then whenever I first started doing it, the partner company that we chose was not the best for our consumers, but man, it was cheap. And now what we do now, I'm very, very confident in my customer getting good service. It's got great margins because we get to pick the price, and it's just a good product all the way across the board. So I feel like it's required for us to get to the next level. And I think you're going to see that too as you guys start to sell them too.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I'm very confident with where we're at now, or where we're getting to with them.
Yeah.
And it's a whole spectrum of making sure that our staff understands the warranty, making sure that our customers understand the warranty, and then advertising the warranties to come full circle on that, so that they know that they're going to not only getting a better price from us, they're going to get a better warranty than the big box store,
Yeah.
because we know the data a little bit on how those extended warranties are working from the big companies, because they're pushing them in such a way where their margins are probably even larger, because they're cutting back on what they're actually offering the customer inside that package versus what we are. And like you said, the wholesale cost is a little bit more expensive, but it's a much better solution for everyone. And I think that it's a win-win for everybody. The customers are getting a better deal, and so are the dealers, because we're all hedging our bets against the way that that society is anymore with cheaper products.
Yeah. If you're going to cut corners on anything, don't do it on the extended warranty. We learned that. So, well, cool. Well, I appreciate your time, Ben. This has been awesome. And for you dealers that are out there thinking about doing it, it's super easy. Just look into it. But extended warranties, they change the game. So I appreciate everyone following along as we talk through extended warranties and their benefits. If you guys like what we do, give us a thumbs up and a share, and we'll see you on the next one.